is our government. We listen to him. We don't bow down. The government is corrupt. Democrats and Republicans are corrupt. We don't have Donald Trump in office and actually get stuff done.
We have vacate signs here on the fence of the governor's mansion. Right here, this is the scene outside of the governor's mansion, Governor Tim Walz in Minnesota.
And big corporations, and you make a lot of money in China. And that's big corporations.
Flat Earth, that's so 2019.
Lots of noise, lots of patriots out here today. Another shot of the governor's mansion. We got more vacate signs here. They're telling the governor to vacate the mansion now.
One of my favorites is I need a haircut.
You gotta talk to yourself. Talk about the attitude, like what people are saying.
I need a haircut. Yes. That's great.
Well, you see Mark.
Lots of people.
Okay, she's on the other side of the street. She's coming this way. I wanted to get a shot of her.
There's people wearing masks out here. Not much distance.
Hey, where'd you get your mask?
Let's see if we could possibly talk to some people here and hear some stories. Hockey fans today. Got more people here. Lots of signs here. Abortion is not essential. That's some of the chants they're chanting here.
Really? That's hilarious. That's actually very Carol Baskin killed her husband.
Let's talk to Liberate Minnesota here. Hi, I'm Allie J with Breitbart News. Is that okay if I ask you a couple of questions?
Sure.
Awesome. So why are you here today?
I'm out of work.
You're out of work?
Yes.
What do you do?
Install fireplaces.
Governor Walz, what's something that you would want to tell him?
We need to open up Minnesota, and we need to get back to work.
Absolutely. Now, do you know anyone else that has been laid off, or how many of your friends have been laid off from their jobs because of the shutdown?
My sons are working. My daughter's been laid off, and it's affected us.
Yeah. And what other ways has this affected you, and what other ways has this affected you and your family?
Well, just going to the stores, trying to get what we need. And I would have to say, if it wasn't for Alex Jones, we wouldn't have had a 3-week heads-up notice.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for
Yep.
talking to me. And then what's your name?
Mike Bjork,
Mike Bjork. And where are you from?
Bruton, Minnesota.
Butte, Minnesota. Awesome. Thank you so much, sir. So I'm here in Minnesota, but I live in DC, but I work for Breitbart News.
Okay.
Yeah. Yes, Breitbart. Thank you. So people are here because they've lost their jobs. We have some USA chants here. Walls is not essential. It's for Tim Walls. So for people that are just joining us, we are outside of the Governor Tim Walz's mansion in St. Paul, Minnesota, where there's a Liberate Minnesota protesting Governor Walz's stay-at-home orders and other executive orders that have gone through in the past months. Now, Donald Trump earlier this morning tweeted out "Liberate Minnesota." So I'm sure for many of these people that is very exciting.
Wow.
Walls is not essential.
Walls is not essential. Walls is not essential. Hey folks, moving in here. Come on in. Come on in, folks. Come on up here.
Sorry. It's gonna be loud.
So we might have some speakers.
Come on in, let's get over here. Well, everybody, welcome to the Man in the Mansion. Today, we are witnesses to history, but it is a history that we will not be proud of. It is a history our children will be embarrassed to speak of. It is a history that generations who know us not, and that we know not of, will cringe at the very sight of. It is a history that forever destroys the idea of America being a country of free and independent people. Free to move, free to worship, free to work, free to speak, and free to assemble. The man in this mansion, whose greatest achievement prior to becoming a politician was teaching 10th grade geography, has failed to do the one thing he swore above all other things to do: protect and defend the Constitution.
That's right.
The man in this mansion is a coward.
That's right.
The man in this mansion represents the most fearful among us.
That's right.
The man in this mansion wants us to be afraid with him. The man in this mansion has spit upon the graves of our ancestors, sacrificed their fortunes, lives, and sacred honor to defend at all costs the freedom and liberties of all Americans. He has spit on the memory of Thomas Jefferson, Rosa Parks, George Washington, Sam Adams, and every soldier who was sent to a foreign land or died to protect our freedoms at home.
That's right.
He is in that mansion right now, and he is spitting on you. The man in the mansion has no legal or moral obligation to protect us. The man in the mansion has no ability to protect us. The man in the mansion cannot give us one valid reason for stomping on our constitutional right. The man in the mansion cannot save one life. He cannot protect one life. He is not a God. He is not the God. We are the authors of our own destinies. We decide our fate because our fate is determined by providence, not government.
He's watching.
If the government, of, for, and by the people, can violate its own laws,
He's
and
watching.
the people themselves have no duty to uphold any law created by that government.
It looked like him.
Hitler had laws, and had America lived in Nazi Germany, we would have killed Hitler on day one. So I ask you, will you give up your constitutional rights when the next crisis lands on these shores? No! Give up your constitutional rights to life, liberty.
Got a pig. Let's see if we can talk to this lady here with the pig. Got a pig. Lots of USA chants here. More cars here. Look at the stream down this whole road. Hi there, ma'am. My name's Allie J. I'm with Breitbart News. Wow. Don't mess with the food supply. All jobs are essential to the supply chain. We got our buddy here. So can you tell me why you are here today?
I want America to be free. I want Minnesota to be free. The disease is not anywhere near as serious as they're causing this panic mode to be. If people are afraid, they're easy to control, and I think that's what this is about.
And how has the shutdown affected you or people that you know?
I have more friends than I can even count who are unemployed at this time. I happen to be essential. I'm very fortunate in that regard. But one thing that affects us, my mother-in-law is in a memory care facility. We haven't been able to see her for a month, and every time we call, she's crying. I mean, so that's very sad. She can't see the one she loves.
Absolutely. Now, if you could talk to Governor Walz today, what would you say to him?
Read the real science models. See that Minnesota has a very, very low rate of infection and a very high rate of cure that they don't stay sick. The death rate is being artificially
come?
I have a business card.
Oh, great.
Oh, hell yeah.
Find some of them. They can have lunch.
Yeah.
Hey, I tell you right now, I don't want to.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. Yeah, I can't get to heaven if that happens.
Hi there. I'm Allie J with Breitbart News. Is that okay if I ask you a couple of questions?
Sure.
Awesome. So your sign says healthcare workers against the shutdown. Can you tell me why you're here today?
Why I'm here? Well, there's a lot of lies going on at the hospitals. We're overwhelmed. I'm a registered nurse. My sister's a registered nurse. My husband's in healthcare, works at our local hospital. My sister lost her job as a nurse. My husband's working 10 hours a week. I can't get a job as a nurse. They're not telling the truth. And this is devastating our family. We can't pay our mortgage on 10 hours a week. So we need people back to work. We need to do it safe. We need people back to work in a safe way. We need a plan for it.
Now, do you know any of your friends that have been laid off because of these shutdowns, or how has this affected the people around you, including your family?
Well, we're lucky. My husband has vacation hours, but they'll run out at the end of the month. After that, I don't know. We're gonna have to dip into savings. I know several other healthcare workers, ICU nurses who were laid off. They only have 1 month of savings. My hairdresser I talked to, she's a single mom. She hasn't received any money from unemployment or the small business loan, she told me. So she doesn't know what she's going to do after.
If you could talk to Governor Walz in St. Paul, Minnesota, where hundreds and hundreds of people have gathered for a Liberate Minnesota rally. We're going to talk to these people today and see why they're here. Awesome. So, who are you and where are you from? Awesome, awesome. And why are you here today?
Until the church gets rid of the 501c3 and I said 501c3 all churches that are signing that is the devil's contract. And that is telling the church Jesus isn't at the head of your churches. The state is, the government is, the churches. I call all of you today to take Jesus back as the head of your church. No more answering to the state as the head of your church. Jesus wants to come back. That is when the signs, wonders, and miracles will happen. But they cannot happen if you are answering to man. We answer to God, not man.
Awesome, awesome. If you could talk to Governor Walz today, what would you tell him?
We are Minnesota, not FEMA District 5. Stop it. You were hired in Minnesota for Minnesotans.
That guy's giving biblical stuff.
Don't drag us down with their problems. We have enough of our own problems. And you need to help accountable for the problems that we have here. And not the outside.
Absolutely. Now, do you know people who have been laid off, or how has this personally affected you?
My husband works for a company and they furloughed 75 and he's paid for the bills. And the way things are going, I mean, everything is great for their future. My children's lives have been put on hold. The other strange thing is like, you know, my one son actually filed for unemployment, and he's now getting more money than what he made. Which is this turning into a universal basic income? Is that what they're setting us up for? People need to start reading and really understanding what's going on, because your mainstream media is 90% owned by 6 corporations, and they all have affiliations.
Awesome, awesome. Well, thank you so much for talking to us today.
Thank you.
Okay, we gotta go outside of the crowds. Okay. We're gonna go this way.
I just said to my girlfriend.
Got sides here. Governor's Mansion. If you're just joining us, this is Allie J with Breitbart News. We are outside of Governor Tim Walz's mansion at a Liberate Minnesota protest. People here are protesting Governor Walz's stay-at-home orders and other executive orders that have been put in place that have caused unemployment and shutting down of the state here in Minnesota. Hi there. I'm Allie J with Breitbart News. Can I ask you a couple of questions? Awesome, awesome. So, what is your name and where are you from? Awesome. And what are you doing here today? Yes. Can you tell us about your business? Now, do you know a lot of people who have been laid off because of this? Do you have a lot of friends? Yeah. If you could talk to Governor Walz today, what would you say to him?
Actually, what started as a protest.
Absolutely, absolutely. Well, thank you so much for talking to us today.
That's all right.
Very loud. Awesome. I'm Allie J with Breitbart News. Can I ask you a couple of questions, sir?
Sure, Allie J, yeah.
Awesome, awesome. So why are you here today?
For freedom, for liberty, to help operate my republic.
Awesome, awesome. And how has the shutdown affected you or people that you know?
It's destroyed my wife's business. I am an essential employee at my job when I lost out. It's affected everybody. And of course, it's affected everybody. 12% unemployment in Minnesota is what we're saying right now. We don't need that.
And what does your wife do? What is her business?
She has a home market research company.
Okay.
She
Awesome.
kind of does what you do, but to other people for different reasons. So asking questions and figuring things out.
And if you could talk to Governor Walz today, what would you tell him?
I would have to restrain myself, but I would say, Governor Walz, the health reports are much better than you realize, and I think your model needs looking at. 2, liberty. The taking away of our business is wrong. Liberty is the root of prosperity. Prosperity produces the wealth that allows us to pay for the health that we're all talking about. That's what I would tell them.
Awesome, awesome. And what's your name, sir, and where are you from?
My name's Colin Wilkinson.
Awesome.
From Cold Rapids, Minnesota.
Awesome, awesome. Well, thank you so much, sir.
You're welcome. Have a great day.
You too.
How you doing? All right. Glad you came out. You bet. It definitely does.
Still got more coming down here. Again, if you're just joining us, this is Allie J with Breitbart News. We are outside of Governor Tim Walz's mansion in St. Paul, Minnesota. And we're just out here and talking to people and letting people know, getting their stories out here. And I'm just gonna take this phone case off here real fast. across the street here if we can. It's getting super packed with more cars coming up here down the road. Oof. Oofda, as we say here in Minnesota. Okay. Crossing the road. Come up here, we're going to talk to some more people and ask them why they're here and how this shutdown has affected them. This is a bigger view. The mansion is right there. Breitbart News. Is it okay if I ask you a couple of questions today?
Sure.
Awesome. So what is your name and where are you from?
Connie from Bloomington.
Bloomington. And why are you here today, Connie?
Just to support the reopening of the state.
Now, has this shutdown affected you or people that you know?
Just people I know, not my immediate family.
Okay. And if you could talk to Governor Walz today, what would you tell him?
I would tell him to let the people go back to work and to give us a chance to make our own decisions.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Connie. Thank you. I'm Allie J from Breitbart. Is it okay if I ask you guys a couple of questions?
Yeah.
Awesome. So what are your names and where are you from?
I'm Valerie. Annie. And I'm from Bloomington. And I'm from Burnsville.
Awesome. And why are you guys here today?
Well, I'm here. I'm a hairstylist, self-employed. I'm here. I have been out of work for over a month. I have 4 children that I'm homeschooling out at home, and I believe it's a right that we have to come out here and say, no, let us work. This isn't okay that you're stopping me from being a licensed stylist. I'm very sanitized. I'll follow all the rules and regulations, but we need to open up the economy.
Absolutely.
And for me, I'm going to pull this down a little bit back up. As a grandmother of 14 children, I want to make sure that our Constitution is supported and upheld. And 2 weeks was fine, and then even push it to 1 month. But it's now all the CDC models, everything. The models that they have used, they all seem to have been debunked. The numbers aren't being reached that they thought they had projected that we were going to reach, whether in hospitalization or in deaths. And the whole idea behind staying at home was to make sure that the hospitals weren't overrun. Well, Rochester is laying off doctors. So apparently that's not happening. So we need to get this state back to work, because already we just found out, we talked to someone, and a small business, a coffee shop that has been going, one of our kids had worked for them about 10 years ago, just a small coffee shop, made a decent living, single mom, and she now had to close that. She contacted our friend and said, could you buy all my beans, because I can't keep going like this. And that's sad in this country where people have the American dream if they're willing to work hard. These people have, and now because of our government, it's been shut down.
We're losing livelihood.
We are. Livelihood, yes.
livelihood.
Yeah. And I've heard some people say it's too many times it's lives versus money.
Yeah, that's
but
not it.
It's lives versus lives. And we need to stand up for those people that aren't able to speak up and get this state back to work.
Yep. And we can do it.
We can.
We can do it.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
So, yes.
If you could talk to Governor Walz today, what would you tell him?
Oh, wow. I have to question some of the policies because it's not based on what I see as accurate information. I don't know where he's getting his information. And I would just say, if you care about the people of Minnesota, let them go back to work. Our daughter, this is my daughter, and the first week that they were out of work is a small salon. And she said, Mom, we've all talked about it. We're going to adhere to everything. We're going to keep distance. We're going to get the shields, whatever it takes. Wipe down everything after every client. Let's give the people the opportunity to show that they can make healthy choices. And so...
And if people don't want to go back to work for whatever reason, absolutely, and I support that.
Yeah, they don't
the
have
ones
to
of us that can and need to,
Right.
and have the ability to go and we're not compromised, let's go.
Yes.
To keep the economy going.
Yes.
We need to open it up and let us take the responsibility because we will. And we are at the plate and we'll step up even higher. But let that be our choice. I think that's really important that we have that choice to make.
Yes.
And I don't know why we're picking and choosing essential and non-essential because
Absolutely.
I have friends that it is essential that they work.
Yes.
So that's what I would say.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yes.
So earlier today, Governor Walz loosened up a little bit of the restrictions, opening more of the lakes and golf, which is huge here in Minnesota. What's your opinion on that? What do you think about that? Is that enough? Or
I think it's a step forward, but we have a lot more steps forward that we need to go, which is why we're here today. Say no, we have a lot more to open up. I appreciate that at least he's doing that. But there's a lot more that has to happen very quickly because every day places are closing down and people aren't paying rent and able to. I mean, it's so sad the things that I'm seeing, the livelihood that's falling apart right now, and it's not okay. And it's not okay that one person or a team of people are making that decision for us, all of us that are saying no, stop. The numbers aren't showing what you're saying, so we need to change it. And I appreciate that I can be here and say no, change it, freedom to work.
Right.
That's why I'm here. I'm so grateful that I stand here in the United States of America and say, here we are, listen to us.
and what are some other worries that you have about quarantining the country for much longer? What do you think that's possibly going to lead to?
Like big picture, you mean?
Yeah, just big picture.
Well, all the economists are saying we're not going to make it. It's going to be worse than the Depression. That's why my understanding is all the surplus money was printed out. We don't have anything at Fort Knox. The printing presses have been working hard. They're pushing out the money because they said hyperinflation is easier or maybe better to deal with than the Great Depression that our parents went through. And so, I was going to digress a second and just say I'm an inactive RN. And when I heard that the doctors at Mayo, a number of them were furloughed, I just couldn't believe it. And we even had Senator Jensen, who's a medical doctor, testify on the Senate floor yesterday, I believe it was. He says he has women with lumps in their breasts that they need surgeries to me to remove those lumps are essential. I just talked to someone whose father has prostate cancer. Those aren't non-essential things. Those are essential. So, anyway.
And we have the doctors that can do it.
Yes.
Right? The beds aren't so full.
Day. he would be willing to lessen up everything. Well, at the same time, Mayo came out and said they can do 10,000 a day. It's like, whoa, let's pull the plug, get moving here. And I don't know why nothing's happening. You know, some things just don't make sense.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. Well, thank you guys so much for talking to us. Yes.
Yeah.
Where are they? Hey, I heard you talking about women's health care.
Yes.
And I'm a nurse practitioner.
Here. Can you tell me your name and where you're from?
Sure, my name is Erica, and I'm from mammograms. I mean, how many tests are we missing? How many people are having cancer right now that we don't know about, and we can't even stop it when it's early on and we have something we can do about it. I have nursing students that have been furloughed, that have been working in hospitals, and the hospitals are empty. They're reporting to me that the census is way down. They normally would have 29, 30 patients on a unit, and they have 5, 7. They can't work, and when they can't work, they can't go to school, and they can't go to school to become nurses, which we're trying to. I thought we're trying to increase our force, right? So. It's just heartbreaking to hear story after story, and to think, why did I come into this field? I wanted to help people. I have other friends that are nurse practitioners that are concerned their hospitals are going to go under because they just can't continue on. The revenue is so far off.
I'm going to come this way. There we go. And so, with how has this affected you personally, the shutdown and everything that you're seeing?
Personally, I know a lot of people have it worse off. I have a spouse that is able to keep their job. I have a job, but I'm a mom with 4 kids. I can't do 100% in my job, and it's just, I just feel for them, and it's heartbreaking. The mental health. Yesterday, in a pact with those 6 states that don't represent us, we lose our individual. Plans for opening and holding us back. We're ready. We're so ready, and we have great numbers. I can't see why you would do this other than political reasons. And you lose a lot of credibility when you do that.
Absolutely. Well, thank you so much for talking to us, and thank you for being here. Yeah. If you're just joining us, this is Allie J with Breitbart News. We are outside of Governor Tim Walz's mansion, which is right there in St. Paul, Minnesota. Here. here. It's coming down the road. Lots of American flags out here today. Trump for Minnesota governor. That's a new role for him. Hi, I'm Allie J with Breitbart News. Is that okay if I ask you a couple of questions?
Yeah,
Awesome, awesome. Could we just back up here just for better sound?
Sure.
Awesome, awesome. So, what is your name and where are you from?
Jill Rose from Minnetonka,
Awesome. And why are you here today?
to support small businesses, to prevent and continue the shutdown, to support all the others that need to continue to work, as I've had to lay off 60% of my staff.
And what do you do?
We collect student loans.
Wow. And have you heard any stories of students that are worried about paying off those loans, and what are you seeing with students and such that burden?
Well, actually, it's been, we have actually increased our opportunities to have people calling in. They have time to pay on some of their loans. They have time to take the time to set up a payment plan, and they're taking responsibility. But it is challenging to my girlfriend that owns a hair salon, my girlfriend that just bought the new gym, other people out there that are part of the minority business owners, just opening up businesses that they have tried to sustain and obtain unemployment and obtain the Paycheck Protection Program has been a challenge. Everything changes every day.
Absolutely. And one of the changes we saw earlier today was Governor Walz has opened up golf. He's opened up the lakes and other outdoor activities. What is your opinion on that, and what do you think about those changes?
Well, I think that's necessary for our mental state, for our mental, for the communities to enjoy the recreation that Minnesota offers, to understand that you might not be operating the same way, but we can still have our recreation. We can still enjoy the lakes, enjoy the outdoors, and it's necessary for us to survive.
Absolutely. And if you could talk to Governor Walz today, what are some things you would tell him?
I would tell him it's time to open up with respect to a lot of our community. We are doing more damage than good. We are really trying as a state to come together to be as supportive on this virus, but it honestly is a virus, and I don't discount this. I think it's really important for people to respect their health, but also to be able to enjoy and continue to move forward with what's necessary to move forward for small businesses and the business community in the state of Minnesota and the economy.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for talking to us today. Awesome. Thank you. Thank you guys so much for tuning in here with Breitbart News. make sure to like and share this stream so we can get some of these people's stories out. Hi, I'm Allie J with Breitbart News. Is that okay if I ask you a couple of questions?
Sure. We'll talk to Breitbart.
Yeah, awesome. So, what is your name and where are you from?
Just give your first name.
Laura, and I'm from Minnesota on the west side.
Awesome. And why are you here today, ma'am?
We're here because we want friends of mine have small business and we want them to reopen. I have a friend who actually runs a salon. They've received no money at all from Governor Walz. None. They've applied for it, no information, nothing. You know, and he shut us all down, and Walz should be the one that's shut down. That's why we're here.
Now, if you could talk to Governor Walz, what would you say to him?
I'd say open Minnesota. You know, our numbers are low. We know that. We read it right off the state website, and we don't need any of his authoritarian rule and tyranny.
Right. Absolutely. Well, thank you so much for talking to us today. That's great. Just joining us, we are outside of Governor Tim Walz's mansion in St. Paul, Minnesota. Quite a few people showed up today to protest his stay-at-home orders and other executive orders that have shut down essential businesses, have kept people at home. We talked to a couple of small businesses here, people from salons that have lost their jobs, have known people who have lost their jobs, and a lot of these people are here for them and because of that. Again, thank you for tuning into Breitbart. Make sure to like and share what you're seeing here. Let's see if we can go talk to some more people that are here. Quite a crowd still outside of Governor's Mansion here. Trucks and cars lining up. All the way back on this side. Beyond that, and still coming from that side over there. Facts over fear is a lot of what I'm seeing here. It's a big slogan that they are, many of these people here, freedom over fear.
How about a match? You got a match?
Hi, I'm Allie J with Breitbart News. Can I ask you guys a couple of questions, if that's okay?
Sure.
Perfect. Awesome. So what are your names and where are you from?
Minnesota, I'm Kathleen.
I'm Teresa from Minnesota.
From Minnesota. Awesome. And why are you guys here today?
We are ready to get back to work and done with the shutdown. Feel like we did it long enough, and things have flattened out with the
curve.
Yep.
The curve is flat. We got to get back to work.
Mm-hmm. And what do you guys do?
I'm a stylist, so it's going to be a challenge, but I'm ready for it, and all the clients are ready for it too.
Yes. And what do you do, ma'am?
And I work out of my home right now. I work for a financial company.
Awesome. Now, have you seen a lot of your friends or people you know? Have you seen them lose their jobs and really suffer during this time?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay.
Pretty much, I would say like 90% of my friends and family members are out of work. Yeah.
So if you could talk to Governor Walz today, what would you tell him? What are some things that you would want him to know about your friends and family and what you're experiencing?
Yeah, this is, I understand the reason for part of the shutdown, but it's been long enough now. And it is affecting our financial situation. My daughter goes to college in Wisconsin. She's now forced to homeschool, and we haven't had any kind of indication that we're going to get any kind of credit reimbursement of any sort. So we're not getting what we pay for. And it's definitely made her semester super hard. It's very, very stressful. So, it's just putting a lot of emotion on my whole family. And, we got to get back to reality here. I feel like I'm living in the Twilight Zone.
And what would you say to Governor Walz, ma'am?
I would say that our mother lives in a assisted living home, and we can't even go see her, and it's sad because at this point I understand that the whole shutdown, but we've done what needs to be done at this point. The hospitals are geared up. We've got enough now. They have treatments, and there's also there's testing that's come along, and it's time for us to get back to work and open up Minnesota.
Yeah.
Let's do it. We're tired of it. Woohoo!
Awesome. Well, thank you guys so much for talking to us today. Thank you.
We watch you all the time.
Oh, well, thank you. Thank you.
Caroline.
Nice to meet you. You're from in Minnesota.
Oh, yeah, we've been to protests where the state caused us a lot of hell.
Yeah.
Big, yeah.
Could you talk to us a little bit? So if you want to say your name again, ma'am.
My name is Caroline Rice.
And where are you from?
Here, Minnesota. We've been at this state capitol lots of times. Been at this place, raised my kids on the original date in Hudson Farm. My kids were taken from me by the state, so I've been unemployed for a lot of years. My nursing license gone, and all these people know what we've dealt with. They ignored us. Our governors all along ignored me and us. But we watch you all the time. We appreciate what you do. We're at the Trump rallies, lots of them.
Awesome.
Thank you.
No, yeah.
Awesome.
And if you could talk to Governor Walz today, what are some things that you would really want him to know and communicate?
I don't want to talk to him.
No.
We've wasted all our words. I spoke, and he can read all online. He knows our story. I have nothing to say to him. In fact, when Dayton came up to talk to us, she's like, I have nothing to say. She turned her back. We're done. We're done. We have nothing to say to the legal system. We have nothing to say. Nothing further. They dismissed our lawsuit. We've had enough. We're not going to stop, but we have nothing to say to people that have ignored destroyed our life.
Absolutely.
Took my house, my kids, my job, tortured us. Falsely arrested me, had me in jail, a non-jailable anyway. Yeah, we've had enough. This is awesome to see this. I'm glad to have you here.
Thank you.
Really nice to meet you. I appreciate what you do.
Well, thank
Keep
you.
doing it.
Yes, absolutely. Thank you so much for
She's
being
doing
here.
comedy. This is my daughter Lauren. Talk to her. She's much better on camera.
Is she over 18?
Oh yeah, and she's awesome on camera. She just was at the Klobuchar thing, and oh, she did awesome.
Awesome. Hi. Can I get your name and where you're from?
Sure. Lauren Rice, and I'm from Minnesota. I grew up in Shorewood.
Awesome. And why are you here today?
Honestly, mostly out of curiosity. I wanted to see what it was like down here. And I think it's really cool to see people stand for what they believe in, so I always like to be part of things like that.
Yeah, absolutely. And what do you think of the shutdowns and the COVID and all that's happening around in Minnesota?
I think what confuses me the most about it is how they decided what is essential and what is non-essential. Because I think we have a lot of problems coming up because people are stuck at home. And a big concern for me is people who have mental illness who are further isolated right now. So I guess those are my main things I'm thinking about. Yeah, the elderly being alone is really sad to me too.
Yeah, awesome. Well, thank you so much for talking to us today. Very much appreciate it. No, absolutely. So originally here, but I live out in DC. But I'm home from school.
Oh, my daughter too. So my daughter from you Yes. Okay, so after PUP class last year, then we had other kids
Yes. So I'm down in Ukraine.
Really nice to meet you. Really good comedy. Look up Lauren Rice. We're making it a joke.
I love it. I love it. Thank you. Yes, you too. We elected one governor, not three. Free Minnesota. Governor protects rights, tyrants give rights. Some of the signs that we're seeing here outside of Governor Walz's mansion, which is right there. We'll cross the street and get some more people to talk to and tell us how this has affected us here. There's been cars going around the block for about 2 hours, probably more. Let's see.
Come on.
I like that. We're from New Prague.
Oh, hey! How are you? Good, how are you? Good. Good to see you.
Maintain 6 feet, please!
Oh, I'm sorry. Should have looked before I left.
Oh, you're good.
Ran into a telephone pole right unless you know what's going on.
Showed this a little bit earlier, but now we got vacate tags right outside of their mansion. Governor Walz to vacate it.
Wash their desktops at the end of the school day. You look at pictures.
Still going strong. Lots of people here.
Yeah, 2007. My kids were out of high school, man. They wouldn't have carried it. That's
More signs taped here onto the gate of the governor's mansion. If you're just tuning in, we are live in St. Paul, Minnesota, where we are outside of Governor Walz's mansion, here for the Liberate Minnesota protest. A lot of these people here are protesting Governor Walz's stay-at-home orders, other executive orders.
Not for our governor! This is for our freedom! Not for our governor!
Wouldn't talk to me, and she just put on a song. Where's the dialogue? I didn't attack her. I have Well, she's not
Looks like Trump showed up to the mansion.
Not for our government.
Minnesota. We'll come over here and see if some of these people will talk to us. We're outside here. Lots of signs still. Lots of people. Lots of people. Some people are wearing masks. Some people are not. 6 feet distance rules definitely not being adhered to. But lots of stuff going on.
I was waiting for you guys to vote for what you want. We have to agree. So why do you not support them? It's sickening.
I would hate to interrupt, but I'm Allie J from Breitbart News. Is that okay if I ask you guys a couple of questions?
Yeah, go ahead. No problem.
Awesome. So what is your name and where are you from?
My name's John Casper. I'm from Grand Rapids, Minnesota, which is up on Iron Range, 3.5 hours north of here.
Gotcha. And why are you here, sir, today?
Well, I'm here to fight for our rights, our constitutional rights. Any policies they put out or any laws that they're putting out, if they're not within the Constitution, then they're not legitimate. It's plain and simple. But I'm more for people like my friend here. Bob is a resort owner in northern Minnesota, and it's destroying that industry up there right now, what this governor is doing. and it's going to destroy it for years to come economically. But like he was saying to me, their property values are just going to go. Who's going to want to buy a resort in northern Minnesota when you can't even make a dime and your profit margins are so short as it is? But also, why can Planned Parenthood be open and perform abortions when I have a friend that needs a heart valve and that's not essential? My wife works at the Mayo Clinic. They're laying people off and cutting salaries because they're not performing the things that are saving people's lives down there. This whole thing is so out of control and unconstitutional what this governor's doing.
So you mentioned your friend here who's a resort owner, but do you know a lot of people that have suffered from this?
A very good friend of mine owns a restaurant, Dottie's Restaurant in Grand Rapids, Minnesota. The same things happened to her. And that's something she wants to hand down to her daughter. It's not going to happen. They're going to end up going broke over this. So what he thinks he's doing, he goes by the University of Minnesota model. They predicted 70,000 people were going to die, or 50,000, I'm sorry. Then they went to 29,900 because they couldn't sell that. And how many have died in Minnesota? I believe it was 87 here just a couple days ago. Look at the suicide rates that are happening. My wife's a 911 operator. The suicide rates are going up. Domestic abuse is going up. Child abuse is going up. And these liberals always talk about feeding your kids in school. Okay, are these kids being fed? They're a bunch of hypocrites. They're not telling you the truth is what's happening.
Absolutely.
Especially with their models. And then this governor, it's about politics. He just joined 5 other states that have nothing to do with us. Why didn't he join North Dakota, South Dakota, Iowa, and Wisconsin? They have the same industries as we do. They have mining, they have agriculture, and they have high tech, just like we do. These other states, we have nothing in common with them other than social liberal, and I say it this way, communist governors. Plain and simple. Look at the governor of Michigan. There was over 100,000 people in a short time that gathered in Lansing. I'm proud of what we have here, and I don't know how many are here. I'm sure the mainstream media will tell you it's hundreds, but it is thousands. There's no doubt about it.
Absolutely. If you could talk to Governor Walz, what are some things that you would say to him today?
I would say just what I just got done saying. Help my friend, Bob here, who owns a resort. The governor's all for them when they have their association meeting and thinks they're great. But if he really thinks that, why isn't he out there trying to help them right now? Why isn't he open up that industry? Plus all the other industries that are out there. And more importantly, people that are going hungry right now, that are losing their homes through bankruptcy, that again are losing their businesses for the same reasons. And the suicide rates, everything that I just got done talking to him. I would love to talk to him about that and have him explain to me how he can justify what he's doing when all these people are really being hurt compared to this virus.
Absolutely, absolutely. Well, thank you so much. Can you spell your name for us?
It's John, John, Casper, Casper.
Awesome.
Thank you.
Thank you. And now, Bob, is that okay if I ask you a couple of questions? Can you tell us your name?
It's Bob Barton.
And where are you from?
Grand Rapids.
Grand Rapids. And now, so why are you here today?
Well, I'm here because unless the governor lifts the stay-at-home order in another 30 days, I'm out of business. And when you own a resort, typically a resort owner lives on the resort. I don't lose just my business. I lose my home. Because we have a 3-month season in which we make our living. And he's already talking about truncating it by a month. Now, me and hundreds of other resorts will go out of business this year. In this state, 30 years ago, there were over 2,500 resorts. We're down to a hair over 800. I would think that we're going to lose half of those this year. And northern Minnesota is all tourism based. We're all interrelated, whether it's a resort or a bait store or a hardware store or a grocery store, gas station, you name it. When one sector goes down, we all go down. If he does not, incredibly short-sighted, and like John said, when we come down here for our legislative days for our association, everybody comes in. Gazelka comes in and says, oh, we love your resorts. You're the greatest thing in the world. Walz, we met with Walz. Oh, yeah, we love what you do. Keep doing what you're doing. And then they turn around and either don't try to help us, or actually in Walls' case, try to put us out of business. It makes no sense.
So if you could talk to him, what would you say to him today?
What am I going to do, Governor Walls, come July or August, when the bank comes and takes my property and my life savings, everything I've ever earned in my life went into the purchase of that property? What am I going to do? What do I do for my family? For a job, for a place to live? You're giving me no options.
Absolutely. Can you spell your name for us, sir?
Bob, B-A-R-T-O-N, Barton.
Thank you. Well, thank you so much, you guys, for being out here.
Thank you for doing this.
Yes. We got some tough stories out here of people, especially this last man that we just talked to who owns a resort up in northern Minnesota, and anyone who lives in Minnesota or is familiar of up north, it's a beautiful place, and it really does run on tourism, and I can only imagine for him as a resort owner who lives on that resort, if he would lose that resort, as he told us, he would lose, I mean, his whole livelihood, his home. So it's tough stuff. I mean, this affects so many people in so many ways. And it's tough. These are hard decisions, but we got to make the right decisions that a lot of these people think is opening up the states here. Yes, yes. Still busy. It's still busy out here. Governor Walls' mansion. And they're trying to vacate it. Vacate now, Executive Mansion. Lots of people here. Still a lot of energy. These people are pumped.
So I got a picture. This
What's going on here? Let's see here. We'll keep talking to people and see what they have to say. Hi, I'm Allie J from Breitbart News. Is that okay if I ask you guys a couple of questions? Awesome. So we're here, and we have
Kevin Murphy, M-U-R-P-H-Y, Chaska, Minnesota.
From Chaska.
Doug Malsom, M-A-L-S-O-M, Minot Lakes, Minnesota.
Awesome. And why are you two gentlemen here today?
Economic freedom.
I want my job back. I work in a location that has absolutely no reason to be closed. I'm a chef. I don't serve the outside public. There's no reason for my restaurant to be closed right now.
Absolutely. And why, economic freedom.
Economic freedom. This is tyranny, what's going on.
Absolutely.
And with the statistics that have been shown in the state of Minnesota and worldwide, I'm more worried about that tree falling down and killing us than I am of getting the coronavirus right now. So, I'm sorry, the Wuhan virus.
Awesome. Now, you have been very personally affected by this. Do you guys know a lot of other people who have been affected very poorly because of this?
Absolutely.
Everybody standing here, pan that camera around, everybody here has been affected by this made-up dilemma that China started in the Wuhan province and let this virus out.
Absolutely. Now, if Governor Walz was here, what would you tell him? What are some things you want him to know about what's going on?
First off, I'd say, Governor Walz, I commend you for standing up in front of your constituency and having the courage to face us. First off, explain to me the logic behind any reasoning you have of closing businesses that are not affected by this virus. If you have somebody that's sick, quarantine them. I am not sick. I do not need to be quarantined. I am a free American citizen. Hence, I'm standing
freedom is essential, beer is a choice. That's a chant that's going on. A lot of facts over fear. Lots of calls for freedom. Lots of families out today. Jay with Breitbart News. Is that okay if I ask you a couple of questions?
You should actually ask this guy here. He'd love to talk to you right here.
All right. I'm Allie Jay with Breitbart News. Is that okay if I ask you a couple of questions?
Absolutely, please do.
Let's go back here so it's a little bit quieter. Awesome. Cool. So if you could tell us your name and where you're from.
My name is Tony. I'm from Malacca, Minnesota, here with 6 others.
Awesome. and why are you here today, sir?
We're specifically here to represent rural Minnesota. We drove down in a rather ostentatious vehicle. You may see it on the news, the minivan dressed up as a cow. Tim Walz doesn't have a terribly high opinion of us rural folks. We've been called rocks and cows, and our votes don't matter. We think they do, so we came down as the rocks and cows to participate, mainly in defense of the First Amendment and people's right to have an opinion, and to hope that this moves to the legislature for debate and no longer allow the governor to have the unilateral decisions over all of Minnesota.
Now, have you guys been personally affected from the shutdown, or do you know a lot of people who have suffered because of the shutdown?
So that's an interesting question, and surprisingly, we're here on behalf of those who have been shut down. Our business has done well. We're blessed. We're grateful for that. I guess this is one of the times in our lives where we're angry for everyone else. Are we upset we can't go out to eat? Are we upset we can't get our haircut? Of course. We have good friends who are losing their businesses and livelihoods. We don't believe it's right. And I would also say we can debate the specifics of the shutdown. There's middle ground on this issue, not so long as one person has a say. This needs to move to the legislature where it can be debated and the proper policies enacted.
Absolutely. If you could talk to Governor Walz today, what would you tell him?
I would tell Governor Walz that I probably support a more moderate position. I believe his motivations for the original shutdown were probably well-intentioned and very well could have been necessary. But I believe the time to move this to the legislature for a reasoned debate, that time has come. And I hope to see everyone's voices being heard in this debate because it affects all of us.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for talking to us today. Could you spell your name for us?
Sure. Tony, Tony, last name Ringham, Ringham.
Awesome. Thank you so much,
Thanks for your
Tony.
time. Appreciate it.
So a lot of areas are getting hurt from this. As we heard from him, rural Minnesota hasn't been addressed, in his opinion. Which is
You were the one with Breitbart, right?
Yes.
Michelle even.
Oh, awesome.
She started this thing, got it all going.
No
So I knew
way.
you wanted to talk to her.
Yes, absolutely. Let's go over here so we have a quieter place. Awesome. Cool. Hi.
Like that.
Yeah, that's perfect. Perfect. Great. Babies are essential. Beautiful.
That's right.
Now, if you could tell us your name and where you're from.
My name is Michelle Even, and I live in Credit River Township.
Awesome. And then why are you here today, and how are you involved with this protest?
The reason why I'm here today is I realize that the citizens in this state who are capable of working, who want to work, needed a platform because mainstream media in our state is not giving us that. I organized it, woke up one day and said, we have to do this. All the media right now, all they want to do is this kumbaya stuff about how we're one Minnesota, how we're all in this together, and we don't all subscribe to that. And there's thousands of people here whose lives are being destroyed, whose businesses are being destroyed, and we need to get people back to work.
Absolutely. Now, do you know a lot of people who unfortunately are suffering because of this shutdown? Have you personally been affected in some way?
Of course, everyone is personally affected. That is my opinion. We're all like a spoke in a wheel, right? You pull one out and everyone's affected by this. So yes, I'm affected by it. I have friends who have their own businesses those businesses are being devastated right now. People who don't know how they're going to pay their bills at the end of the month. People who are not able to get government assistance. And so their lives are just crumbling before their very eyes.
Absolutely. So what do you think of this turnout? Do you see a lot of hope? Do you think this is going to prompt Governor Walz to do more action? Or what do you see in the future now?
I hope that he understands that there's a lot of people here, a lot of people that want to go back to work, and I think if he's not willing to do something quickly and the legislature quickly, that will come back again. We can't just say this is one and done. If there's going to be this slow trickle of
Lots of people have come out here today. Lots of signs, lots of flags. Wow. My husband didn't serve 16 years in the military for tyranny. I'm guessing the son or daughter of whoever this person was also said, my daddy did not serve 16 years in the army to lose our freedoms.
For all in this together, where the hell is he? Tiny Tim is probably hiding out here. Don't step on him, he's pretty tiny.
I love it. Lots of cars, lots of signs, lots of flags out here, lots of patriotism. It's very peaceful, very peaceful. People are frustrated, but it's been very peaceful for the few hours that we've been here. Still lots of cars lining up and passing the governor's mansion here in St. Paul, Minnesota.
The rest of us.
Can I ask you, I'm Allie J with Breitbart News. Is that okay if I ask you a couple of questions?
Sure.
Awesome. Could we just come up here where it's a little bit quieter so we can hear you? Awesome. Great. So we have your sign here, small businesses dying, and you're holding the noose. Can you tell us your name and where you're from?
Dr. Carrie Colliard from Zimmerman, Minnesota.
Awesome. And why are you here today, Doctor?
I'm here because my business is dying, and Walls holds the key to get it all going again.
And what do you do, ma'am?
I'm a chiropractor.
Awesome. And this has affected you personally. Have you seen a lot of other people that this has affected?
All of my small business friends are affected. We're either shut down or we're down to 20%, and we can't go on the way it is right now. This will be the end of us.
And if you could talk to Governor Walz today, what would you want him to know and what would you tell him?
I want him to reopen the state. This state was built on the ability of small businesses to do what we're doing, support our nonprofits, to support our friends, and to keep our communities strong. But we don't have the ability to do that right now.
And what are you worried about in the long term if this continues to be shut down?
We have no idea what the financial implications are, how this is going to affect us in the next weeks, months, or years. Many small businesses will close.
Yeah, it's a very sad reality. Well, thank you so much for talking to us today. Yes. Chalk here. Outside here of the governor's mansion. You do it sideways too. Both works. Still lots of people. We're here in St. Paul, Minnesota, outside of Governor Walz's mansion, where people are here to liberate Minnesota. Cars have been going around the block for hours now. People have been here for hours. Lots of hard stories that we're hearing from people that have lost their jobs, are about to lose their business, might even lose their homes. People just want Minnesota to open. And we've seen here in Minnesota that there's been a very low infection rate, low deaths as of today. Of course, unfortunately, we do feel for the people who have passed, but Out of a 5.6 million population of Minnesota, 222 people have died from the coronavirus. Around 2,000 have been infected. Those are the numbers that came out today. More than half of those who have been all of this has continued to remain open here in Minnesota, continuing doing their abortions. I believe I read earlier that there is curbside pickup here for their abortion pills, which has been heartbreaking to hear. But let's continue talking to some people and hear their stories.
The fake numbers for the virus.
Hi. I'm Allie J with Breitbart News.
Sweet.
Can I ask you a couple
yeah.
questions?
Hell
Awesome. So, what is your name and where are you from, sir?
My name is Rich, and I'm from St. Michael, Minnesota.
Awesome. And why are you here, sir?
Well, I felt compelled to come down and show support like all these other patriots are doing. You know, it's the right thing to do.
And now, has the shutdown affected you or people that you know?
Yes and no. Me personally, I switched jobs right at the beginning of April. I was driving a car hauler, and I switched over to dump truck, and that has got postponed. I was supposed to start April 2nd for dump trucking, and now that's put off till the 27th. So it affected me that way. I'm still going back to work, thank God. But as far as me not having a job, that hasn't happened. So thank God for that. But yeah, obviously, I think everybody down here knows somebody it's affected. I just want to go get a damn burger at a restaurant too, you know? I got a Willie McCoy's 3 blocks from my house, and I want to go there and have a damn burger. I can't do that, so that's what I want.
Now, if you could talk to Governor Walz, what would you tell him today?
Oh, man. If I could hold my composure, I'd tell him what all these other people are saying. Open the state. Let's get back to business as usual. You know what I mean? I mean, people die of everything every day. There's people dying every single day of something. And I think the numbers that they're showing us are skewed. You know, put it this way. It started in China, right? China is smaller than the United States, and they have 1 billion people. And as the numbers stand now, they might be a little bit higher now, but last I looked a couple days ago, it was 85,000 people in China had COVID, and 534,000 in the U.S. they're saying have COVID. How is that possible? The United States is bigger, and we only have 350 million people here. China has 1 billion, so that right there kind of tells me that they're full of crap.
Right.
You know?
Right. Absolutely. Well, thank you so much for letting us know why you're here today, sir.
Are you really? Awesome.
Yeah, we're live. So you can watch this.
Oh, so neat. On YouTube to what?
You know, it'll be on our Facebook.
On Facebook? Okay. All right.
Yeah.
See that? Breitbart. Oh, cool. Yeah, one of the good ones.
Yes.
And if they wouldn't have banned Owen Schroyer, I'd be watching his videos all the time too. But at least I can still watch the videos on what's that channel the guy's got? Something. Oh, I forgot his channel. I watch him all the time now. Savage Facts. So that's the guy he's replaying all the Owen Schroyer videos that he can't himself play anymore because they banned him. You know, Owen Schroyer is banned from Facebook. He's banned from YouTube. He still has his Twitter account, but everything else is banned. And that's BS. Thank you. Thank you.
Just joining us, I'm Allie J, and I'm here with Breitbart News. We are outside of Governor Tim Walz's mansion in St. Paul, Minnesota. where people have gathered for the Liberate Minnesota protest, protesting Governor Walz's stay-at-home executive orders, as well as any other executive orders that he has put in place. A lot of these people either know people who have suffered because of the shutdown. A lot of people here are personally suffering because of the shutdown, and they want Governor Walz to open up Minnesota. We've been here for a couple of hours, and it's still extremely pumped. Still lots of energy here. Lots of people still going around the block. It's quite. I'm Allie J. Nicolai from Breitbart News. Is that okay if I ask you a couple of questions?
Sure, I don't
sir?
care.
Awesome.
What news?
Breitbart News.
7 days.
Breitbart News.
I'm doing
we're online. Andrew Breitbart. He started it. Yeah, big conservative. Yes, awesome. So if you could give us your name and where you're from.
I'm Skip, and I'm from Forest Lake.
And why are you here today, sir?
I might get the $1,200, but.
If you could talk to Governor Walz today, what would you want him to know, and what would you say?
See the truth, do it again. But there's too many people being hurt by this. Too many companies closing down. Too many people losing their jobs.
Open the bars up.
Yeah, and my Legion Club.
I love it. Awesome. Well, thank you so much for talking with us today, sir.
I had to drive from my house to the county clerk to my house, and then the next day I drive from my house to the polling unit to my house. Plus, while I was at the
People want to get a burger. People want to go to the bars. There's just people want to get back to work. There's a lot of requests that we're making, or that people are making here with Governor Walz here. Phase 2, May 1st. People are wanting Phase 2 of Trump's 3-phase plan that he rolled out yesterday to start here in Minnesota. Free our playgrounds, I heard. There's quite a few families that are here protesting, and whole families. Yeah. Immigrants for Minnesota reopen. lots of people need to get their hair cut. That's also been an essential thing. A lot of people are wanting to open up here. Still going up and down. I don't know if you can see that. I wonder if I can zoom in a little bit and kind of see how that backs up all the way. Those are not parked cars. Well, some of them are. But quite the turnout. Quite the turnout. Couple bikers for Trump. Hi there, sir. I'm Allie J with the I'm with Breitbart News. Is that okay if I ask you a couple of questions?
Yeah, go ahead.
Awesome. So what is your name, sir, and where are you from?
Well, my name is Greg, and I'm from Isani, Minnesota.
Awesome.
About an hour north of here.
Okay. And why are you here, sir, today?
Definitely to lose my hearing, I guess.
All right.
I'm here in support of get this thing going back again. Get people out there working. Get us out of this socialistic quarantine. This is almost like Nazi Germany, where you're not allowed to go anywhere, do anything, because the government says no. And this idiot here is a Democrat, which is a perfect example of socialism. As all liberalism is a socialistic ideas. And I fought for this goddamn country. I have friends that died for this country. And I'd be damned if I want to see this country go into that position where it ain't gonna go over my dead body.
Now, do you know a lot of people who have suffered because of the shutdown? Have you suffered because of the shutdown?
Well, I'm retired, so I can't really say I suffer because I don't have a job to go to. But at the same token, I'm still stuck where I can't go where I want to go, do what I want to do. I've still got the same hindrance on things just like a normal person. But I feel bad for the people that are working and that are losing their jobs, losing their business. People who may have worked, their lifetime to get a business going, and now it's going to go out the window. This isn't right. And for a pandemic virus, which I even seriously doubt was even there to begin with, between the liberal media and the liberal politicians and Bill Gates, biggest jackass I ever met, they've caused this panic in the people, where the biggest fear that people have, the biggest virus that people have is fear. And they've instilled fear in all these people, and their people are acting. I think some of the people are finally tired of it. They're starting to realize that this ain't right.
Right.
Numbers ain't adding up. There's something that's not being said. And I'm not saying it's President Trump's fault. All he can go by is what he is told by his COVAX team, and I wouldn't trust them. They need to get out here and open it up. Don't wait. The longer you wait, the worse this country's going to get, and then what we do, we'll lose the country. This will never be a country like it was. And people say, make America great again, and they ask me, when was America great? Boy, I tell you, when I was in the 60s growing up, I rode a bike without a helmet. I drank water out of a friggin' hose. My mom and dad used to paddle my ass when I screwed up. It was great. And that country was great. You could go out there and do and be what you want to be. Now, this ain't right. We need to have that back.
If you could talk to Governor Walz today, what would you tell him?
Don't expect to get reelected. And I don't call him Waltz. I call him Governor Walt Disney. Because the guy's a joke. He's a wannabe governor. He's between him and Dayton, I don't know who's worse. Dayton may be worse, but if that's that case, I think Waltz is running a close second behind him.
Absolutely, absolutely. Well, thank you so much for talking to us today,
not a problem.
sir.
I hope
Very
you have
much
a good day.
appreciated. Yes, you
like
too.
I tell people, stay safe.
Yes, absolutely, absolutely.
I'm in a group of people that are acceptable because I'm almost 70. So I'm in the group with COPD. So I'm supposed to be one of those vulnerable groups. Well, I'm out here, no mask, up on in cigars, so I really, that's why I said that I'm vulnerable. I'm more worried about, I'm not worried about the virus, I'm worried about
Sounds like they're broadcasting a Trump speech here. Still going strong. Still going strong here. Those are not parked cars. Those are all cars going past. If you're just joining us, this is Allie J with Breitbart News outside of Governor Walz's mansion in St. Paul, Minnesota. We're here with the Liberate Minnesota protest. Trump actually tweeted out his support earlier today by tweeting out Liberate Minnesota. Also announced earlier today, the governor has lifted bans on lakes and golfing and other outdoor activities, but the people here that we've talked to have said that that's just not enough and that those are not essential and they want their businesses open. Definitely some tough stories of people losing their homes. Not sure if this continues to go on. Minnesota nice is crossed out, Minnesota free. Lots of energy here. It's awesome. Families are out here, old people, young people, everyone in between. Definitely a big crowd here.
First thing she said. Getting good footage?
Yes, yes.
Yeah. Are you out of Michigan? In Breitbart or where?
DC.
DC.
Yes, yes.
This here, you should interview him. He's a 13-year-old patriot.
It's awesome. It's awesome. Great turnout here. Lots of people have been here for hours.
And we can see it in the
When will your podcast or when will it be?
Well, this is live now.
Oh, it was.
So you can go back and watch it
Good.
once it's finished.
I want to put his on. Somebody else interviewed him too.
Yeah, awesome.
Because it's serious what's happening to him.
Oh, extremely.
It's insane.
Extremely.
And I'm glad you're doing it. I appreciate it.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, feel free to like and share. And
Yep, we will.
So have you
gotten any grief for being right?
I haven't yet.
Good.
Lots and lots of support, which is reassuring. Yes.
You should add your counterpart here. You know, the curly hair.
I know.
I can't think of her name. The one that started out at the college, she had her gun going through the deal.
I love it.
I follow her.
She's never lost an argument. They give up.
Oh, no.
They just have no.
And they've gotten mean with her, too. Literally. Sick. They took a guy away here, a liberal, on a bicycle trying to kick people, the undercover cops.
Really?
Yeah, earlier.
Holy cow.
They're the only ones that start trouble.
No, right.
I mean, 29,000 people at Virginia. Most of them carrying a gun and nobody got shot, even though the media said that there was going to be people dying. Antifa. It happened here, I don't know, it's been a few years when they were up on the bridges, blocking the freeway, and they threw bricks at cops and injured the cops and sent them to the hospital. Oh yeah, it doesn't happen. I've gone to March for Life for a couple of years. When you leave, everything's in piles picked up. When you go out for the, you know what happened? It's a big
Haven't seen a lot of counter protesters. That is one thing. There's been a few people that have ridden by and given the bird, but there's been really not much conflict here. Mostly one-sided support for opening up Minnesota. Continues to go down all the way there. Here, we'll see if these guys want to talk to us here. Hi. Hi, I'm Allie J with Breitbart News. Is that okay if if I could ask you guys a couple of questions?
Yeah, this is a good one.
Oh wow. You know, let's move up here so we can be a little bit farther away from the road.
Right, we're both retired veterans.
That's amazing. Well, thank you guys for your service. Very much appreciate it. Awesome. So if I could get your guys' names and where you're from.
My name's Phil Buchanan. I live in Maple Grove.
My name is Douglas Eichmann. I also live in Maple Grove.
Great. And why are you guys here today?
To stop this shutdown. This is just a smokescreen to try to take over the USA. And this is, for the survival of this country, a freedom-loving.
Absolutely.
For me, I think it's all about politics. It's all about power. The Democrats will do or say whatever it is to smear or lie. Fake news, 92% is against Trump. We love him to death. We support him. Candace Owens, follow her, donated $50 to her yesterday. Love them all.
Now, do you know a lot of people who have been affected because of this shutdown? Have you guys in your families, have you guys been affected by this?
Not many. I'm 66 years old, retired. I'm blessed. I'm a blessed man. I'm living a dream. I'm living in dream country. I 30 years in Minnesota and I still have an accent, they tell me. So I say, how you doing? Forget about it. Get out of here.
Forget about it.
I say, get out of here, you mutts.
Now, you know, there's all this talk about the vulnerable, you know, ages. You're not afraid at all to be here?
No,
Not at all.
I'm not wearing a mask. I'm less than 6 feet. It's all part of the scheme of theirs. Less people die this year probably than the flu, a bad flu season. With one death, like Mr. Trump says, one death is too many. But I'm, you know, from a liberal city. I'm a registered Democrat. Ashamed to say, but I've changed my affiliation. I voted for Mr. Donald Trump. He happens to be from Queens, like myself, but I live on the other side of the tracks of him.
Now, if you guys could talk to Governor Walz today, what are some things that you would want him to know, and what would you say to him?
Our people are going bankrupt, all for this not proven hysteria, this coronavirus. And like Phil said, more people have died from the regular flu. So, yeah, we don't want our people to lose their jobs, their income, their livelihood.
Hey, what if you had a small business and you want to open up, whether you're a registered Democrat, Republican, whatever, and they close down the nation, the world, over China making a mistake? Sure, we'd love to have good relationships with them. Sure, we want to get the big money, billions of dollars. But I think we're going to probably just cancel out on the debt that we owe them, and we're going to make out just fine. I'd say about $15 trillion should have put us about even.
Yeah, I don't. There's some talk I've heard that China, it's a possible mistake. I think it's more intentional. I mean, the truth will come out later, hopefully. Just got to sort out the misinformation. But it's really strange that China didn't want any help. You know, a lot of their people dying. And I was talking to a few people. Something about China was trying to send airliners over with people. You know, President Trump closes the border when he did, thank God, and he's called a racist. And not even 2 weeks later, they're saying he's incompetent, he's not doing enough. It really upsets me. So this is a way to blow off some steam.
I'd have a question to ask. I want to ask, I heard that New York, when all the people were in Miami out partying and all, and then they finally closed it down in Florida. They all came back home, infected everyone they want. But in New York, they were cut it down to 20 flights a day from Kennedy Airport. Then it went up to 200 flights a day. Where in that, sending all the New Yorkers and people infected all around the country. Yet they really care about lives. And I understand since January 1st to April 1st, there's been almost 11 million abortions in the world. And they care about this little thing. I'm anti-abortion. I want to be a registered Democrat, but I keep it just so I can call guys like Walz and tell them I'm never voting for him again. Not that I ever would in the first place.
Right. Well, thank you guys so much for talking to us. Yes, thank you for your service. Some people have talked about the sign which is in Governor Walz's yard. We're all, and then Minnesota, this together, we're all in this together. A lot of people are asking, if we're all in this together, then where is Walls? We don't know where Walls is. Top of that. Still got more cars coming down the road. If you're joining us, and if you're still watching, welcome. I'm Allie J with Breitbart News. We are outside of the Minnesota Governor Tim Walz' mansion here in St. Paul, Minnesota, where there is a Liberate Minnesota rally. But it's been going on for hours until still tons of people are driving by, tons of people are standing outside. That's the mansion there. These people want their businesses to open. A lot of the people are from small businesses, resorts of up north, and hairstylists here. Very peaceful rally today. Not a lot a very peaceful rally. Very little counter-protesters, if at all. Hasn't really been much of a police presence here either at all, which is interesting. Very interesting. Jay from Breitbart News. Is that okay if I ask you a couple of questions, sir?
Oh, that'd be fine.
Awesome. Perfect. Now, can you tell me your name and where you're from?
Yes, my name is Bruce Ona. I'm from Roseville, Minnesota.
Awesome. And why are you here today?
I'm here today because of the suppression of our First Amendment rights. And I'm not willing to give up my First Amendment rights, and they can't take them from me according to our form of government.
Right, absolutely. Your sign says here, suppression of church by state, and we're seeing a lot of dioceses shutting down churches, the government mandating that these churches be shut down. How do you feel about that? Has that affected you quite a bit?
Yeah, that's affected me very much personally. I volunteer at a nursing home, and I minister to people's soul and their spirit. And the health of the soul and spirit is equal to the health of the body. A man on his deathbed, I was not able to visit and comfort and support and bring him reassurance. And so I feel very bad about that. He died 2 weeks ago, and that I wasn't there, I felt very bad about. I was afraid I might be arrested if I stepped in. My church has been continuing to meet, and we follow the guidelines, health guidelines, and even more than the guidelines of my church, but we still meet. And so government should warn us and give us recommendations, but it's up to each individual to follow, I believe, because one shoe doesn't fit all. What's safe for one person and the amount of vulnerability may not be necessary for another.
Right. If you could talk to Governor Walz today, what would you tell him?
Yeah, I would tell him that people have been intimidated to go to church. They feel they may be arrested, and yet for 50 years you've been telling us there's separation of church and state. That's what liberals believe, Democrat Party believes. And now, since this crisis began, I haven't heard you say once separation of church and state. Instead, I've just seen warnings for freedom of religion. And I feel that is suppression.
Awesome, yes. Well, thank you so much for talking to us, sir. I very much appreciate it.
I'm very glad to, and thank you for granting me the interview.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you. Yes, you too.
Oh, you are? We love your publication. Good fan.
I love that. Thank you.
I'm not associated with that.
What? With them?
With Randall.
Minnesota! No! Open! Minnesota! No! Open! Minnesota! Open Minnesota! Open Minnesota! Open Minnesota!
I'm going to try and talk to the head organizer here of this rally. She was the first one that kind of announced this. She made a YouTube video calling for this. So we'll talk to her real soon. Still cars driving, it's amazing. Still no sign of Governor Walz. He hasn't been outside or what I've seen. Still plenty of going on here.
Yeah, sure.
I'm Allie J with Breitbart News, if that's okay. Can I ask you a couple of questions? Awesome. Awesome. All right, so let's, if you could just walk down a little bit just so it's quieter. Awesome. Okay. Perfect, yeah. Awesome. So we are here right outside of Governor Tim Walz's mansion in St. Paul, Minnesota. Can you tell us your name and where you're from?
I'm Marnie Hockenberg, and I live in Minneapolis.
Awesome. And why are you here today, and how are you involved in this protest?
Well, I'm one of the organizers of the protest. My friend Michelle Even and I have ramped up many protests in Minnesota to go up against the Red-Green Axis, the Marxist Jihadi Alliance here, which has literally taken Minnesota over. So Michelle, when this all played out, we're just really seeing liberty destroyed and our freedoms and our Constitution shredded and us becoming slaves. So she called me and she's like, hey girl, let's do a protest. So I'm like, okay. So we've done so many that we organized it and we got it out on social media, did some branding. I came up with Liberate Minnesota. I thought that would be a good branding, obviously. President Trump slaves to you. We want to get back to work. We want to reopen. Why are you shutting us down? My kids can't even go to dance. I have no retirement. I have no business. My future is down the sewer. Not down the drain, it's down the sewer. So we ramped up this protest so that people will have a voice and Governor Walz will pay attention that the citizens are rising, not just in Minnesota, the citizens are rising in Michigan, in Ohio, in New Hampshire, and all over the United States. So you guys, I just want, if I could get a message out, that this is not just a one-off. If you're out in your community and you are mad as hell about this and you want your freedoms and your liberties back and your businesses and your future, you get out and just organize a protest. It doesn't have to be big, just a few people. Get out, and then we have a voice. It's we the people, and that's the only way that we can really truly take back our republic and save our republic.
Now, as an organizer and walking around here and talking to people, there's been just some really tough stories. What have you heard? Have you been impacted personally from the virus, or do you know people that that have been poorly impacted from this?
Everybody I know has been impacted. I'm an entrepreneur. I'm a business owner. I've been self-employed since 2002. So I don't have access to SBA loans, etc. Not that so I have no income. Right, so I'm sitting at home going, well, wait a minute. There's so many people out, and I work with clients that have lost their jobs. They are very talented people through no fault of their own. All of a sudden, their income is done, and their plans for the future is done. So it's really impacted everybody, and it didn't have to be this way. It doesn't have to be this way, and that's also what I want to get out. It's a pandemic for sure, and I understand it's a virus that kills people, which is horrible. But there's always going to be flu viruses. There's always going to be things that are going to kill people. 650,000 babies are murdered or aborted in the United States every year. And what do they say? No, they want babies to be aborted. Abortion clinics can be open, right? But you can't go get your hair cut. So just the citizens out there, please rise up. Please make your voice heard. I'm just an ordinary citizen, and so is Michelle, and you are too. And it's really up to us to get out and save America from this tyranny.